Ladies and gentlemen, hello, hello, and welcome to a very special episode of Sherm in the Booth. My name is Sherm. You guys are some true Chicagoans for coming out in January. It's snowing outside, it's freezing, and you're at the fucking club at 1 a.m.
Boys with the bass, yeah, boys, bass.
Who am I talking to right now? You're famous.
Free food, free drinks, music, girls. Let's go.
Do you like it? Cool. You don't? Goodbye.
I'm missing the most important part.
Boys with the bass, yeah.
We should throw like a crazy bar mitzvah party.
This is crazy. Send me stems. I finished it.
What's up, guys? How's everyone doing?
Just wait, you know it kicks in like 3 to 5 seconds afterward.
Yo, what's up, everyone, and welcome back to another brand new episode of Sherm in the Booth. I'm, of course, your host, Sherm, and this is episode 248, and I am so excited for you all to hear this interview. Episode 248 featured an artist that I have over 50 tracks from and play at least one every single set I perform. He goes by the name of BVRNOUT, and if you aren't familiar with the name, I guarantee you've heard one of his remixes. Chris has an amazing story, and it was so much fun talking to him about his journey from day one through now. He is a truly prolific producer with an expertise in remixes, but has now started focusing on originals and creating his own label called BVRN'D Records as a way to give himself a platform for his sound. He's been supported by some of the biggest DJs in the world like Loud Luxury, and his music has helped so many artists go viral on social media when they play a BVRNOUT record. I really mean it when I say that without BVRNOUT remixes, this scene would be a different place, and I certainly wouldn't be where I am without his music on my USBs. Much love and thanks for coming on, my friend. I look forward to seeing you again soon. Now let's get into it so you guys can hear his story for yourselves. This is episode 248 with BVRNOUT. Oh my God. We are live on Sherm in the Booth right now with an absolute legend, someone who I literally have, I counted before we went live, brother, 52 BVRNOUT tracks.
Holy shit.
Fucking 2, bro. I'm looking at them right now. I'm talking all the way the new stuff. Like, what's some new? I mean, your best I ever had is pretty much every track. Every single time I play a set, I'm dropping that. I've got Sexy Bitch on here. I've got your recent Messy one. I've got I Fall Apart. I've got the Generate. I mean, dude, I think I have them all. You've dropped like 9. You dropped.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me on this. This is like incredible.
Of course, dude. Of course.
But yeah, I'm getting close to like 100 edits and remixes. I probably 90. You said it.
Amazing, dude. The congratulations to you. Like absolute machine. And you don't really like. I mean, you're churning them out, but like the quality is there, man. And I have a million questions about like how you come up with this stuff because first off, you're definitely a Mac Miller fan, aren't you?
For sure. I made that playlist the other week because I was like, I have enough to start doing this now.
You do. And I love that. And it's really cool because if you're someone like me, right? Like how long have you been producing for or just like DJing, I guess?
I mean, producing like over 10 years now.
Okay.
And then, slowly fell into the DJing part of it.
So you produced first then?
Yeah.
Really? Okay. Wow. You don't hear about those types anymore. 10 years ago, everybody wanted to be a DJ, an actual DJ, and now everyone entering wants to be a DJ, but they're also like, I need to be an artist. So they're like, they make one Instagram post and release one SoundCloud edit, and they're like, yo, I'm gonna loop in my manager right now. I'm like, who are you?
Yeah, I fell into producing first. Since like high school, basically, I took it was like a music lab course where they were using Logic, which is the same DAW I still use today.
Brother, Logic boys got to stick together. When the Curly Head boys told me you were in Logic, I don't know why, but when I find out people in Logic, I'm still like so shocked but so happy because
I'm the same way. I'm like, yes, I'll just comment Logic. Let's go. Same
Logic.
Team. So
we're just Apple.
Yeah, I ended up being in Logic, and at the time I didn't know what I was doing. I'm just looping, stock Apple loops.
Yeah.
But it was just so fun for me to do. And then I took it like the next year in high school.
So
And
it's a high
then,
school course?
it was a high school course. Yeah.
Wow. They're
We
definitely not
hopped
teaching
on.
those anymore with
We
music getting defunded, right?
we were all on just using Logic Pro or
Awesome.
Logic, yeah, at the time.
Mhm.
And then, we weren't recording anything. We were just basically looping stuff.
Yeah.
And then, you know, set that aside and went to college and ended up getting a MacBook and getting GarageBand because that was like the closest thing because I'm not going to
Mhm.
drop $500 for Logic.
You don't got the money.
No. Um,
Oh,
but yeah, ended up, you know, evolving through getting Logic and, you know,
here you are
taking
now,
it from there.
10 years later, bro.
Yeah.
Isn't it crazy? I'm coming up on 10 years of living in Chicago. So I would say really 10 years since I fully started pursuing a career in music. And we start thinking back to those good old days, man. I tell this story all the time. You know, when you like first use a DAW and you get like massive or silent, right? And like I'm sure when you first got into it, like you liked Big Room. I still like Big Room, like Hardwell or Showtech. And I
Yep.
just
Oh
do
yeah.
just one note on the MIDI and it's like bang. And I'm like, oh my fucking God, I have achieved God level. Like I'm here now. I've done it. Send it. It's good. We're done.
Yeah.
And now, 10 years later, I think back to all that stuff and it feels good because I still love it like I did on day one, you know?
Well, yeah, I mean that's as soon as I made the Logic purchase, you're looking at the scariest thing in the world. So you have to
True.
figure, and that at the time there were only like one or two Logic tutorial YouTubers out there.
Yeah.
So you're just going basically off of them, trying to learn as much as you can.
Who was your YouTube guy for Logic?
Oh my God, I can't even. That's too far back.
Ah, shit, I'm dating us. I'm dating
Dude, chill, chill.
us. Sorry, bro. Sorry. Dude, I know, and it's funny now because originally YouTube University was such a great resource, and it still definitely is. But now there's a bunch of I feel like fake news on YouTube about people like teaching, and what I'm really seeing a lot of success in is like Propa's Patreon type model. You know, the
Yeah.
people that really want to learn or are talented want to give out their secrets and tricks. And
Yeah.
that's why I think it's a really, really cool time in music because there's so much collaboration regardless of the level that you're at. Everyone wants to help each other.
Well, what I would usually do is watch like Disclosure, like their live streams, and
Yes.
they'll put on YouTube. So, and obviously their Logic, so I'm gonna be automatically drawn towards them.
Do you have a Disclosure
Um,
edit or remix?
I don't.
Dude,
That's got to be on the list.
let's cook one up. What do you say?
Let's do it.
Okay.
It's done.
Logic Boys.
But yeah, so I would go watch, these production breakdowns from actual artists like in using their DAW. That's how
Mhm.
I was like self-teaching myself.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
now there's so many different resources to go after.
So many different resources. It's a wide landscape, but yeah, it's just a great time, man. I mean, if you look at all the collaborations that are happening, uh just like cross-pollination of genres, house music, rap music, EDM, everything. And I'm loving the scene right now. It's so special and just good times, right?
Yeah, man. I mean, like I'm not every release is going to be like a house release or whatever. I I work with one of my buddies, Matt Maratia.
Hmm.
He's just like 15 minutes away. We'll just work on kind of free range, whatever, just whatever I feel like making,
Yeah.
and it gives me a little break from the house scene.
You got to get a break from the house scene, man. Sometimes when I go to these festivals or even like these big weekends, I'm like, I cannot hear a hi-hat. Like, get me back from the hi-hat.
Yeah,
I need some country music, which I know you like as well, too.
yeah. I'll dip my toe in there.
Wait. I got to ask you though. So you're from Boston, right?
So I'm like 90 minutes or about, yeah, an hour and a half west of Boston.
Okay, but Massachusetts?
Yeah, Western Mass,
Let's go. What's the city name?
right next to Springfield in Long Meadow.
Long Meadow, Springfield, Massachusetts. Let's go,
Basketball
baby.
Hall of Fame.
That's right. Yes, I was just about to say, dude, I have been there. I went there for my 13th birthday. And I swear to God, I think you know this. I'm a huge NBA fan.
Yeah, I saw that.
Huge Pacers fan. And my 13th birthday, my dad took me there, and I met Grant Hill. I think I told this story recently, but it was like a lot of little kids in line, and I was like, I kind of looked young. I didn't hit puberty till later. And he was like, "What
Yeah.
do you want to be when you grow up?" And I thought to myself, "Fuck, it's my 13th birthday," and I said that I want to be in the NBA. And at
Yeah.
that point, I was not. There's no way, a 9-year-old might be
Right.
able to say that the latest. And he looks at me and he laughs, signs the basketball, and I walk away. And I was like, God. So,
That's
okay,
an
that wasn't
amazing
my
story.
best memory in Springfield, but I do have a lot of good memories there.
Yeah.
So, what was it like growing up there? I mean, in terms of, was there DJs? I mean, did you even get exposed to electronic music until high
It's
school when you took that
basically
class?
no, I wasn't even like an electronic. Well, kind of from I like the soundtracks in like video games and movies and stuff
Yeah.
where they're like electronic, but I didn't even like really know what that was, and I wasn't even making music at the time.
Hmm.
I was taking guitar lessons, and I was in concert band in high school
Okay, cool.
for percussion, but didn't even wasn't even drawn towards like electronic music until I hit college, and then you start hearing all the party the party fucking ragers.
Of course, dude.
Yeah.
Where did you go to college then? Did you stay in the Northeast?
Yeah, I went to Merrimack College, just
Oh, awesome.
north of Boston.
Yeah, hell yeah, dude. That's awesome. I heard that. I heard that's a well, Boston's so cool. I don't know if people know this. There's tons of colleges in Boston. Like
Yeah,
so
they're
many different
everywhere.
colleges. But there's a lot of overlap in terms of like, this person at that college, and for a big city, it's definitely got that small town feel. I really like Boston a lot.
Yeah, and then you'll have friends who graduate and they just move to Boston, so then you start
Yeah.
going to Boston. Yeah.
Yeah, no. What was your first electronic concert then?
It was Dead Mouse at UMass.
Wow.
So that
Wow.
was the first like exposure to, an EDM show.
Yep. You were
And from obviously from there you're gonna get crazy inspired.
Yeah, of course.
So went down the rabbit hole after that.
Was that 2011-ish?
That was right around end of freshman and sophomore year.
Yeah. Yeah.
And at that point, I was in Logic and
Hmm.
just still learning and trying to do whatever.
So again, you still hadn't started DJing at that point.
No,
You were just a fan making music, like sort of just a casual guy. Nothing like
exactly,
I
yeah.
want to be a producer, I want to be a DJ, just having fun with it,
I
living
mean,
life.
it was a little more than casual. Like I was in Logic a good amount.
You loved it. Okay.
Yeah, dude.
Dude, I could not like sit down and like make music in college. I felt like I was so distracted with bullshit.
Well, like I remember doing there was like a Calvin Harris remix contest. There were a bunch of contests going on, and that
Yeah,
would
those
be
were the
kind of my
contests.
practice.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That would kind of be my practice into production and stuff and remixing, obviously.
Yeah. I mean, if you think back to those days, were you always sort of doing remixes? I mean, how like that class,
I
you just learned sort of random, like how to put a track together. It wasn't
we
like,
were just looping, and I was making like
yeah.
rock loop tracks from there.
Okay.
There's guitar solos, there's like cool like rock
Yeah.
drum
That
beats and
basic
stuff.
garage band shit, basically.
Right.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I got you. So
But
did you start making originals, or did you start making remixes when you actually felt like, okay, like this is music?
I mean, at first, when I had GarageBand, I was making like the most crappy hip hop beats you could ever listen to.
I
Obviously drawing inspiration from, I was listening to mixtapes of like Wiz Khalifa, Mac Miller, that kind of stuff.
let's go. Pittsburgh, baby. Dat Piff.
So
Holy shit, that was such a good
yeah,
time in
yeah.
life.
So just downloading all those mixtapes and then trying to like make hip hop beats.
Mhm.
And then I discovered that dubstep channel. What was it?
UKG.
Yeah. And then
Oh yeah.
went down that whole rabbit
Mhm.
hole of dubstep. That was like the big EDM discovery.
When you realize, wow, you can make some crazy
Yeah.
shit.
So after that, just started exploring all types of that kind of music.
Yeah.
which led me to like progressive house,
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
that's where it really hit home for me.
Yeah. Like the Alessos, the Swedish House Mafia.
Yeah, like
Here.
Avicii, Alesso, Swedish House Mafia, those were like that was it for me. I wanted to learn exactly how they're doing that.
That's what I was talking about with Hardwell, dude. I was like,
Yeah.
I remember I like loved W and W too, like that, just that really like that crazy energy live. It just took me over. I never experienced anything like that. I had a similar experience too. I actually, my first show was going to be Dead Mouse, but he had to cancel because of weather. And I remember he ended up playing at this bar, but I couldn't get in because I was 18. But it ended up working out because my first show was Avicii and he had just released Levels. And
Oh man.
I remember, dude, it was a cornfield in southern Indiana, and it was just something else. And I know
Yeah.
exactly what you mean. Like when he was DJing and I was listening to the music, it's like, I don't know, the first time you experience that, it really is just a sort of another level of consciousness. It's
Yeah.
unbelievable. And I felt the same. I was like hooked and I wanted to make music just like them.
Well, because I when I first heard of Vici, he had, he was going between a couple other aliases. He had Tim Berg, Tim
Yeah.
Berglin.
Yeah.
That's when, and then, that's when I kind of grabbed onto that whole
Yeah.
progressive house scene.
It's the
Um,
best.
yeah,
And now you're still very into it. I mean, the music that you released today, I feel like has a little bit of everything, Chris. Like that's why I like it so much. It's very versatile.
yeah.
And I'm telling you, dude, like I've played your remixes in all sorts of scenarios. I'm talking main stage festival in North Coast. I'm talking fucking a quinceanera. I'm talking like a wedding reception, dude. And
Yeah.
I mean, when you're making this music, do you have any intention of where it's to be played? If you think back to like that live experience that you were getting from music, mentally when you're in the studio, even making these remixes, are you thinking this would work well at so and so or at this type of event, or like what's going through your head?
I mean, it started with just tracks I like in general from,
Hmm.
the 10 years ago. Obviously, I started right with Mac Miller. That was a song, I used to
Of
play on a
course.
repeat. So it started with just songs I just loved listening to growing up.
Hmm.
And then obviously, you want to, what I started doing is hopping on like, a new song would come out and then get ready for. So in that mindset, yeah, I'd be wanting to make songs for certain newer songs for DJs to play out,
Yeah.
when it's in season, basically.
In season, yes,
When the
yes,
song
yes.
is in season.
Yes, you're a seasonality producer. I like that actually.
But then, I'll go and remix like an 80s track that I love listening to.
Bro, your She's So High, I'm looking at it right now, the She's So High remix. You got to be kidding me with that. I just dropped that in a power hour that I did.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
Let's
like
go.
it's perfect for that, dude, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, your music really takes me back and it's so much fun because people really don't know what to expect when you start mixing in these tracks. They hear like she's so high.
Right,
And
right.
people are like, "What? Oh my God." Yeah, and
Well, yeah.
that's awesome.
Yeah, that became the goal. It was just like basically beef up these, nostalgic, amazing songs into a danceable like house track. That's
Yeah.
pretty much like the main goal behind like the burned kind of, aspect.
Yeah. Wait, I'd be remiss not to ask the name Burnout. Where did that come from?
So that kind of started. I wanted to make like a trap kind of name. So me and my buddy were just like throwing names back and forth.
Hmm.
And so my last name is Barnhart.
Okay.
Uh, Kept it obviously pretty close in terms of, syllables and spelling. I was trying to do something with like my last name. I
Yep.
was like, I don't like it. So I gotta burn. Can I do something with burn? Like sunburn? Nope, that's taken.
Yep.
So me and my buddy were just shooting texts back and forth of ideas, and we finally settled on Burnout. And at the time, I was heavily inspired by like trap music stuff, and they're like stylizing their names. And
Yeah, the
Burnout with the
lumberjack.
U was
Yeah, I remember those now.
yeah, yeah,
These
yeah.
are all starting to come back to me, actually.
So then, I go on all social media, and Burnout with a U is taken. So I'm like, okay, I'll just flip it to a V.
Let's go, Trap Lord over here.
Yeah. So, yeah, I guess I started with progressive house, and
Mhm.
then that's when I was using my like real name and doing remixes at the same time.
Okay.
So if you go on YouTube and search my real name, you'll find some stuff,
Wow.
and then moved on to making trap remixes of progressive house songs. And that's where Burnout kind of, you know, got birthed.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, because you were mentioning earlier how much you love dubstep. And then once you get dubstep, then remember those trap days, dude? Like my guilty pleasure is Yellow Claw. Always
Oh
has
yeah.
been, always will be. Love Yellow Claw to death. And I remember when like Carnage was doing trap and Yellow Claw, of course, and Flosstradamus. I mean, dude, Chicago legends. And that shit was otherworldly, dude. It made my
Oh
body
yeah.
do crazy shit, right?
What was it? Loud Pack? Was that
Loud
one?
Pack. That's the other one I'm thinking of too. Loud Pack. Yes,
So
yes.
they were doing crazy trap stuff,
Crazy.
and there was Party Favor, right?
Hmm.
There was one more I can't remember, but
Well,
I was trying to do exactly what they were, doing.
same. Those were the Mad Decent Block Party days. I remember I went to Michigan to see Diplo, Dylan Francis, Flosstradamus. Keys and Crates was another one that was doing really
Oh
good
yeah.
back in the day. And you remember Riff Raff?
Yeah.
Yeah, we had Riff Raff in there. And dude, they even had Zed's Dead on this lineup. That's how long ago.
Oh man.
And I just remember that was like, dude, those were the trap days. And it was so cool in the US then because it was still so new in terms of like this genre. You know, Skrillex was really starting to blow up. Tiesto, of course, the Alesso, Swedish House Mafia, all that stuff. But there was sort of this like, I don't want to say underground because trap wasn't so underground, but it was different.
Yeah.
And that's when I really started to sort of fall into this whole world entirely as like a fan, as a creator, as a DJ, as a producer. And it's interesting. You never really know what's going to pull you in.
Right. You just go with what you like, and it brings you in a million different directions.
And it splits you apart as well.
Yeah. Because I started doing like the progressive trap stuff, and then
Mhm.
I started doing like future bass,
Yeah, of
and
course.
then I came out with I started doing stuff and trying to get it onto Trap Nation was the like next big
God.
YouTube thing, right?
Yeah. Did you?
Yeah, so I put Apache on, which is still like my biggest track.
Wait. Whoa. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. How do you spell that? Because you are fucking taking me back right now.
APACHE with 508 or
I
the
fucking have it, dude.
that's me, man.
What the fuck, bro? That's amazing.
So then that was like, that was what Burnout was at that time, is like the
Yeah.
trap style. And then, I moved into future bass, and then I started experimenting with like mid-tempo,
Hmm.
and then it came full circle back to, house music,
Yeah.
feel good, progressive, nostalgic vibes.
Yeah. And during this time, were you performing at all? Or like you starting to DJ, or were you just straight up cooking beats?
So, yeah, there would be, one-off shows here. I know in the future bass like trap era, I ended up playing a festival in California with like the craziest lineup,
Whoa.
and that was before I even got back into like the whole house realm. It was with, Dioro, Rehab, Nitty,
Oh,
uh Dom Bresky.
wow. Where in California was this?
This was San Bernardino. It was
Okay.
NRG.
Yeah, of
Um,
course. That's where Hard Summer is now, I think.
I think it was 2017 or 18. I got onto that lineup somehow.
Those are the days when music did a lot of the work in order to get booked.
Yeah, yeah.
For sure. That's for sure. Holy shit. Okay. But like you said, you started as a producer, and then did it? I mean, do you like is performing a thing that you enjoy? Because it's a whole nother art to master, you know?
Right. I mean, the shows have always been like one-off shows.
Okay.
Um, but I played some crazy, like sick shows, like obviously NRG, and
Yeah.
then I was able to play EDC Las Vegas at a side stage. And this is when
Oh.
now we're moving into the bass house kind of
Mm-hmm.
era.
This is
That's
when
when I
Tommy
played.
really started to pick up steam for sure.
Yeah. So then, I started falling into the bass house category. I started working with DND. I dropped like an EP with them,
Mm-hmm. I saw that earlier today.
and then a lot of work with bass house music on YouTube.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember.
So yeah, that's when the show started to pick up, and then now I'm in a new era of like the remix edit stuff.
Yeah. I like
It's just
that
like
though.
different phases of burnout.
For sure, dude. And I'm a huge proponent. Somebody asked this at Winter Music Conference actually that I mentioned earlier. They were like, "I'm an artist and I make different types of music. I'm trying to pick one lane, but I like to make different stuff.
Yeah.
I've been told that I need to do one lane if I want to build a brand." And I think there's some truth to that too. But I also think we are human, and especially creators, especially music producers, a lot of the ways that we grow and speak is through our music. And Dylan Francis is such a great example of that. He's someone that mentioned, I'm like the old Dylan Francis is not the new Dylan Francis. Remember he was Moombaton Dylan Francis,
Right. Oh yeah. He's
right?
traveled the phases.
He's done the phases. Now he makes something that's so completely unique. And I think that's the beauty of being an artist is, like I said, you don't know you're gonna connect with.
Yeah.
And
And
it's the best to actually try new things and then something beautiful comes out of that.
yeah, I mean that's what, I was doing. I'm making a lot of bass house, loved it. And
Hmm.
then, you want to do something else because that's the nature of being an artist. Like
Yeah.
you always constantly want to, evolve and do
Hmm.
new things.
Yeah.
And with the remixes, I get to, I get to do any song, any kind of older style, newer style. I get to take that and transform it into what I love.
Yeah. Yeah. So true, man. And I want to go more into your remixes in a little bit, but I also want to give you a shout out because you've been making a lot of original music on your record label, Burned Records. When did you
Yeah.
launch that? When did you decide, okay, like I'm gonna push originality and really just push the envelope on your brand individually instead of like I'm the remix artist?
So it started with that I Miss the Rage, do you know that song? Or Trippy Red like blew it up, but it was a
Oh yeah,
sample
yeah, 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 yeah.
from
Of course.
Cymatics.
Yep.
So I obviously just downloaded that pack and I was originally going to be a remix. And
Okay.
then I'm like, well, this is royalty free, so why don't I just get some vocals on it and turn it into an original? And that's where I created my own label so I
Mhm.
could release it.
Yeah.
Because other labels are kind of weird with that.
Yeah.
Even though it was I was talking to some labels and they were hesitant, and I was like, this is a royalty free sample. Like I don't.
Bro, you come knock on Hood Politics door, man. We're not too worried about that shit.
So
Especially royalty free.
that's
Good.
that's where I created, Burned Records so I could just drop it.
Hmm.
And then I was coming off because I also did 52 remixes for a year.
Yeah.
So and at the time I was like, all right, my next goal is to, for 2024 I want to do an original a month.
Okay.
And I kind of work on the fly with originals and remixes, so I can't build up 12 tracks and submit it to a label.
Yeah.
And hopefully it lines up every month. So
Hmm.
that's where I created my own, so I could just make music a couple weeks before and then drop it the same month.
Chris, I love that, man. And for any producers that are out there listening, I think it's a special time in music for many reasons. But dude, as an A&R of a label that has grown so much in the past couple of years, we've never gotten more submissions and quality submissions of that too. Like it's never been harder to say no. And when you finally do get signed to a label, it's almost like, yeah, I love this track. We'd love to put it out on Christmas. You're like, it's
Yeah.
fucking April. What do you mean? Like half the time when I interview artists, I'm like, so like what's a track that like really means a lot to you? They're like, honestly, it's one that hasn't come out yet and it's not coming out for a while. I'm like, why?
Yeah.
Like the labels are pushed back. And I feel like what's changed so much about the current landscape for independent artists is just giving yourself a platform instead of trying to depend on everybody else. Because like you said, seasonality, bro. Like
Yeah.
here and now is very, very important. And there's nothing worse than feeling so good about a track, wanting to put it out, and then you have to wait. Then you forget about it, and then you don't feel connected to it. And then when it's
And
time to roll it out, you're like, fuck this track.
right. And that's where I was when I was doing bass house stuff. I had,
Mhm.
I had like 10, 15 demos, send them out, and then, nothing happens, and then they kind of just sit on your hard drive forever.
Literally, literally. There's so many tracks that are just on hard drive. Oh, I know. That's great though, man. I love that you did that. So are you signing other artists to your record label, or are you just doing it for yourself right now?
Right now for myself, I kind
Yeah.
of still want to build it up, and have it worthwhile for someone to sign a track because there's a lot more that has to happen for them to want to sign it. I don't want to just sign a record and have it just flop. It's not there yet. This was
Yeah.
mostly a like personal goal that I wanted to do. And then, halfway towards the end of the last year, that's kind of when I decided to turn it into an album because originally it was just,
Mhm.
a track every month. And then I ended up adding like 5 more tracks to complete the album.
Yeah. You're churning them out, bro. I get it. You're like, yeah, I got 12 done right now and it's January. Yeah.
So
That's great.
that's how Burn Records kind of came together.
It's very cool, man. I wish you the best, bro. I think that's awesome. And again, any artist out there, like, don't be afraid to just put yourself on because you got to be your own biggest advocate and you got to give yourself that vehicle. One thing I always try and mention too about record labels, like, just because you release on a record label, I think this has changed a lot since like, the bass house days and like the underground house days and stuff. Like a record label is not going to make you famous. A record
Right.
label is not going to take you on a world tour. A record label is not going to get you a million plays. A record label is not going to get you fans, right? It is a medium, it is a vehicle to get your music out and within the community of that record label. But ultimately it is still up to the artist to put together not like a full marketing plan, but like it's their song on a record label. Ultimately it's them, right? So I feel like when you release your own music, and I've experienced this, when I release my own song, I put so much effort into it, right? Because I'm in charge of how successful this is going to be. You make a lot of
Exactly.
content, you work hard to get it on playlists, you push it out to all your friends, you're really excited about it. You think a record label is going to do all that stuff, and while they do, and we have, in flight and following and stuff like that, it's about sharing the community together. And I think what you're doing is really, really cool to start by saying, hey, this is Burn Records. I'm Burnout. This is my music. I'm building that up. And then guess what? There are going to be artists that hear that and are going to be really inspired by your sound. And they're going to feel like I've been looking for someone like this with my sound. And maybe you inspire them in the first place. So keep doing what you're doing,
Yeah.
man. It's a beautiful road that you're paving.
Thank you, man. And that's what kind of led me to start doing the whole remix thing is, I'd hold on to these bass house tracks or tracks I liked and it's just a waiting game for,
Yeah.
the bigger labels. So I was like, all right, I can't wait. I have music I want to get out there.
Yeah.
So at first I started doing like one remix a month.
Mhm.
And then in between that time, I'm making like, 4 or 5 more. I'm like, I can't wait. So
Nope.
then it turned into it was like, all right, I'm gonna try to do this for, a remix a week. And I didn't set a timeline on it yet. I didn't know I was gonna try to do it for a year. It was just
Yeah.
like something I could do and, get ready for the next one. And then what really I saw Goshfather was he was like
Just
doing
about to
the
bring him
52
up.
remixes,
Yep.
and then I literally kind of used him as like, all right, now I have to do now I got to do this
Oh,
because
that's amazing. He would love to hear that.
I told him, I told him I reached out, like you inspired me to like keep, do the full
Yes.
year remix thing.
Yes.
And yeah, it's just crazy.
And
I
that
never
was
thought I'd do that.
so that's going on still right now, or did you complete that last year?
So I completed it last year,
Okay.
and now I'm trying to do like, it's 2 or 3 edits or remixes a month.
Yeah, and you're following through because you're looking at the number one Bandcamp fan right here, brother. And I see Burnout has
Thank
added a new
you.
track to the collection.
Yeah.
I'm literally on my work computer and I'm like listening to it with like an earpiece. I'm like DJing. I'm like, yo, this is
Well,
fucking sick,
so
right?
I was gonna try to drop one before this, but I started setting up my camera and stuff. So
It's an honor. It's an honor to be part of that process. After
no,
you
and
end, I'll be looking for the email.
I mean you don't know how thankful I am for you just being, investing in something like that where I get to,
Yeah.
and I want to make remixes for people that have been, fans and like been able to follow me through discovering, in the SoundCloud trenches.
Dude, I could go on and on about SoundCloud. And I think what you're doing with Bandcamp and SoundCloud is so cool because I think what's happened with Spotify and Apple Music and just the streaming world, like, dude, Spotify is a whole social media app. I don't care what people say. It is
Right.
great on the user end, but on the artist side, it is like a whole new thing you have to master. And it's like monthly listeners and getting my merch set up and my bio and artist picks. It's like I get what they're doing. I appreciate it, but like you don't really know how many fans you're converting until you're like really big. But guess what? SoundCloud and Bandcamp, there are real people that are interacting. I think SoundCloud, I remember, was it during COVID they were going to go out of business or something? And
Yeah, they were not they I was reading articles like they're gonna shut down
yeah, dude, it
and
wasn't good. And I was like, this is so bad because now that so many people are DJs and fans, the same thing. We live on SoundCloud, dude. Like I can't tell you at every Hood Politics event, people go, "Oh, dude, your guys' edits on SoundCloud mean so much to me. Like I played them at this, I played them at that." There's always a story. And I
yeah.
think that's kind of the difference between SoundCloud and Bandcamp versus Spotify. Like, yes, Spotify is where you find great original music and all that stuff. But for our world, the DJs, the fans
Right.
who are both, you find that on SoundCloud, and that's what's so
Because
special about it.
you're never, yeah, you're never gonna hear that anywhere else except for
Nope,
SoundCloud.
exactly. It's beautiful, and
Yeah.
that's the best part. And SoundCloud now is doing a really good job with insights and analytics. So I find it really interesting as well because now that TikTok is bigger than it's ever been, right? I don't know what's going to happen. Maybe one day it'll die, whatever.
Yeah.
What we've seen is so many of these songs that people blow up for, Ian Asher or even disco lines and stuff, right? Those songs aren't on Spotify. Guess where they are? They're on SoundCloud because
Right.
that's the only place they can go. So the younger generation is coming to SoundCloud. So this younger generation is getting exposed to Hood Politics Record, to Burnout Remix,
Let's go.
right? It's
Yeah.
true. It's true, bro. I can't remember who I was talking to about this, but they brought that up and I was like, "Oh my God, like these sped up versions, like the BBL Drizzy Red REDD, I think, remix or something, right? It was like
Yeah.
huge on TikTok and it had millions of plays on SoundCloud. And getting
Wow.
millions of plays on SoundCloud is like,
That's that's crazy.
that's
I mean, that'll happen
insane.
over like
10
5, 10
years, yeah.
years, but
Yeah, dude.
you don't see that.
No, not since SoundCloud started when it was for rappers and stuff, right?
Yeah.
So, all this is to say is do not underestimate SoundCloud. Chris and I know that, but if you're listening, like make sure you're serving that community on there and serving them consistently because that's where DJs live, and there's nothing better than finding a SoundCloud gem, man.
Oh yeah. And then their similar tracks recommendations are pretty spot on.
It's getting pretty good. And I
Yeah.
mean, you remember when we first got into this, right? It was the only place you could find live sets. I remember when I was in college, I had to work out to a live set. Like
Yeah.
I had to find a new live set and you find all these channels with like EDC Vegas 2013 or whatever and all that shit. And I've always continued to build my SoundCloud in the sense of something that I would want to come across, right?
Yeah.
Like remixes, live sets, mixes, all that sort of stuff. And I think it's making a full circle loop right now, like as we're speaking, man. Like SoundCloud is really having a resurgence, and it's a beautiful place to build a community.
Yeah, and you're right. With the Spotify, it's just like that one-sided, here, put your music here, and they'll just throw ads at you like, all right, pay for the banner, we'll push your music. You're like, what?
It's like it's just a whole nother thing to master, and I understand and appreciate that, but I'm also trying to master Instagram. I'm also trying to master TikTok. I'm also trying to master YouTube. Like I can't also do Spotify because you guys
Right.
are all under these different fucking algorithms, and I just like and you can't a lot of times you can't recycle the content. And
No.
Spotify I would say pre-COVID, having 100,000 monthly listeners would get you gigs. It
Yeah.
would. It would. Now, 100,000 monthly listeners is a dangerous number because where are those passive listeners coming from, right?
Right.
If you get booked because you have 100,000 monthly listeners, but you can't sell 10 tickets in your hometown, what does that say about you?
Right.
It doesn't say you're a bad producer, but it says that you're maybe not serving a community, which I feel like is the most important thing, which is the thing that you're doing so well, man.
Yeah. Thank you, man.
Yeah, I'm willing to work for you, by the way. If you, I'll be a salesman for Burnout, bro. I'm like,
Yeah, you killed me because when I showed up to that rooftop,
dude,
I'm in the elevator and I'm hearing the in my mind, and I don't know if it's mine yet because I can't really hear a lot of it.
right.
So the buddy I come with, he starts like singing it, and then the higher we get, I start hearing. I'm like, oh shit, that's ours.
And it's fucking me on the decks. I was so excited to meet you, man. And first off, love that track that we got on Hunt Politics with you.
Yes,
Yeah,
I'm glad we were able to get something together.
let's keep it going, man. We're such big
Absolutely.
fans, and I'm telling you, like, let me just look at a few of your remixes and tell you a few stories, okay?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so probably what I would say is maybe your most well known, at least in my world, is your Mac Miller The Spins edit.
Yep.
So you
Agreed.
released when did you release that? 2 years ago?
Yeah, that was 2 years ago.
2 years ago. So last year I went on like my first tour promoting a song. I like put it all together myself. It's called the Toxic Tour. And the first show I had was in Denver at Temple, and I was opening for Iman Beck. So it was like, a little more like open format house type crowd.
Right.
And it was popping. It was so popping. And I had your track on there, and I knew that song. I know every fucking word, bro. These hoes is drunk, wanna come and smoke this blunt. And I played that song. It was a 2 hour set, and I maybe played it an hour in when it started to get popping. And this is like the first show on the tour. I'm really excited. This is like a big thing for me. And bro, like I sang every single word, and I just remember sort of being so in the moment because the song, like, it took me back, man. And like you took
Yeah.
it to a very nostalgic level, Chris. And the track itself is so, so good, like how you really arranged it, especially the second drop, like it comes in and it's just got the Empire of the Sun. Like you nailed it, bro. And after I dropped that, I realized a lot of my sets, I'm playing what I thought would be cool or underground and shit like that. I was like, I shouldn't be playing songs that I don't absolutely love or know every single word to.
Yeah, and that's exactly why I started the whole remix journey. I wanted to make songs that I love, and I get to, you know, make it in the house club world and be
Yeah,
able to translate that way.
it's so good. So good. You accomplished that, man. And one more story about that too. So I went to go visit IU where I went to college. It had been a while. It's been 10 years since I graduated. And I'm on the back porch of this bar called Kilroy's. And this young kid is DJing. I used to DJ there, right? He like looks like a young Sherm.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, you should go talk to him. I'm like, I'm not gonna go talk to him. What am I gonna say? Like, he doesn't know who the fuck I am. And it's like 11 a.m., it was a tailgate. And he starts to mix in this song, The Spins. And I go,
Yeah.
no way, this is the Burnout remix. Like, holy shit. Like, because that's an old Mac Miller song, bro.
That's old, yeah.
Really
I
old. And this
mean,
kid is at least 10 years younger than us, right?
right.
And dude, the crowd went wild. It went absolutely
That's
wild.
crazy.
And I'm getting chills talking about this story because it brought me back to that moment. And I just wanted to share those two stories with you, man, because you know, it's just something really special that you're doing with these edits and these remixes, and they mean a lot to DJs that I know. especially here in Chicago, bro. I know so many open format DJs that like, I mean, play burnout tracks, at least one or two every single,
Yeah.
no doubt. So whether you see it or not, man, you have fans out there and you're doing just a beautiful thing, man, for real.
Yeah, and to go back to the Spins song is like exactly I'll play that in every set for the rest of my life
And
probably.
you should, and you fucking
Yeah.
should. And like my two boys, Pods, if you haven't heard of them before, they just opened for Noizu in Chicago, and they posted a video with them
Yeah.
playing this song. And I asked him about it because I play basketball with him. I was like, Mike, like I saw you played the Spins Burnout at it. He goes, bro, like we went two underground in the beginning. We were like, fuck this, like let's make these kids fucking sing. And they played that,
Yeah.
and everything changed.
Yeah.
And
That's crazy.
it is, and I think that's the power of music. And sometimes only when you're DJing do you really fully understand that. Like you got your hands on the music. That's why I like to DJ. I feel like I really have my hands on something that's not physical.
Yeah. I mean, and that's kind of why I did a shift like music wise because I was doing the bass house thing and I was loving it,
Hmm.
but I want the people out in the crowd to love it just as much as I do. And that's where I was like, all right, what if I do songs that I love and most people are gonna love and make that the combo? How can you go wrong?
How can you go wrong, bro? Well, you certainly do a good job of making it better, that's for sure. I mean, it could go wrong, but
Yeah. Yeah.
the
Well,
final
that's
product.
that's another thing too. I try to stick pretty close to the original. Sometimes, if the style is a little different, I'll just make my own
Yeah.
style and go with it. But
You said earlier beefed up. Like what does that mean to you when you like just take us through one of your recent ones. Like let's talk us about the Lola
well,
Young like messy burnout remix. Like how
well,
do you actually beef that up?
I can do. I'll do the spins first.
Yeah, let's do the spins. Perfect.
I mean, the structure is the same. Um, what I do, I'll just put a grittier bass line under it or like
Hmm.
synth, stack it with chords, the same
Hmm.
chords as the original song,
Hmm.
switch out, re-drum everything, make it house drums. And, those are what I kind of call my edits when I stick pretty close to the original,
Yeah.
beef up the layering and the sound design, switch it out with bigger house drums, and that's what kind of elevates it from the original and makes it playable for a club.
You make it sound easy, but I know it's not that easy.
I mean, this is like 10, 12 years of sound design and music production.
That's true. So you're taking it, you're stripping it out in each stem and then sort of just recreating it almost.
Yeah, and what really played a huge part is AI and being able to
Oh yeah.
do the vocal remover because
Mhm.
before I started doing
Logic, bro, that
remixes.
new update with the
uh,
oh my God, dude, it's amazing. Propa showed it to me. I was like, when the fuck did Logic get this?
someone showed me that too, and I didn't even know Logic was doing that.
That's
I
the thing
don't,
about Logic. They don't tell us anything.
but I do have my go-to. I go to Audio Strip is like
Yeah.
another stemmer vocal remover, and that's kind of where that played a huge part in me being able to do these remixes
Mhm.
because prior to that you could maybe find a DIY acapella or some weird instrumental that sounds horrible.
Yeah. I remember
so
those.
so now I'm able to split it up into stems. It's able to get vocals, drums, synths, other bass line. The quality is not the best, but it's pretty darn good for where it's at. And if it doesn't sound the best, then I can try to recreate it. Or what I usually do is if a song uses like a popular sample,
Mhm.
I'll download the actual song
Okay.
and chop it up the same way you know, the song, how the other artists used it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's smart. I like that. So what about when it's maybe not a track? Because what's the original BPM on the spins?
It was is I think it was 127. I don't think I touched the BPM for that one.
Yeah. So what about like I had some help or maybe best I ever had? Like how do you go about that?
So again, I did find the original sample for Best I Ever Had,
Did
and
you?
then yeah, and then chopped it up the same exact way Drake did, and
Oh,
then
you're just like Drake. Let's go. Just like Drake, baby.
or whoever the producer was,
Yeah, yeah, it was
you
not
know,
fucking Drake, but I got you,
no.
yeah. That's great.
And then yeah, sometimes you'll have to figure out, is this song too slow? Is it too fast for me to get it between that house tempo?
Hmm.
But that one, it worked out. So that's another thing I'm kind of careful with. Is it too slow or is it too fast? Like
Yeah,
sometimes you can't remix the rap songs or hip
literally.
hop.
It's hard. I'm working on this Blink 182 I Miss You remix right now. And well, honestly, so somebody sent it to me and I was like, "Oh fuck, you figured out the phrasing." Because I did a remix of Zach Brown Band Chicken Fried with my boy Spectre. And it's funny, like, as someone like you that started in producing, I feel like you're able to sort of think about how the track needs to start. And as someone that started as DJing, I know how a track needs to be finished, like what it's going to take for it to work well live.
Yeah.
So I've just kind of sort of leaned in that level of creativity for myself where it's like, oh yeah, no, this is good. You've got the bare bones here. Here's where we go. And those are the tracks that I feel like, even though they're challenging, they're so rewarding because live people are like, oh damn, this guy really remixed fucking chicken fried. And I'm like, I fucking did, man. Shout out to Spectre
Yeah,
who did that with me. It's
that's
so
awesome.
much fun. Like we dropped that in LA. People were confused as fuck. Like and again, bro, it goes right into the spin story I told you. I'm like up on a fucking box and I'm like, I was raised underneath the shade of a Georgia pine. And then we're in
Yeah.
LA and they're like,
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck. You sing this shit with me.
What was your messy what was your messy question, Lola?
Well, yeah, you kind of answered it. So like how about that? Like, so the spins is an edit. What makes messy a remix? Is you
Yeah,
just took
so
the acapella?
yeah, that was I kind of restripped everything and I don't I didn't really use, the original kind of track and
Yeah,
kind of turned it into like a, that piano house vibe.
it's good. I like that one a lot.
Thank you.
Yeah. That's such a good original song too, isn't it? It's like, I mean, does it come to you like you hear a song on the radio, you hear a song on Spotify, and you're just like, I gotta get my hands on
Oh
this?
yeah. I mean, even sometimes I'll know immediately for new songs, and then for the other Mac Miller edit that I just did, um, the self care one.
Hmm.
This was like a few weeks ago, but before I put it out, I was listening to it. I've listened to it like 1,000 times and never even thought to remix it
Yeah.
until the back end came. I was like, wait a minute, I can remix this.
Oh my God.
And I immediately got inspired. I think that ran home and just started going to town with it.
Yeah.
But it just hit me, it'll hit randomly.
Yeah.
I'll listen to you know tons of music all the time, and sometimes I'll just listen to it as like a listener. Other times I'll be in like the producer mindset and be like, okay, I can do something with that.
Hmm. Yeah. I know exactly what you mean. And that's kind of a beautiful thing about inspiration as well. And why I feel like remixes, really at all levels of a producer's journey, is always so much fun to go back to. And one thing that I've done, and I'm curious if you've ever done this, like, have you ever just made a remix and then took out the vocal and realized, oh shit, this is an original?
Well, yeah, like the messy one is basically an original.
Yeah, it is. That's what I'm saying. Like,
I have thought about that, and
yeah, right there. It's tempting.
yeah, it's just sometimes I have done that with other songs, very few, but it's kind of tough to find that vocal that perfectly works for that because I'm specifically making it for that
True.
song.
True.
Um, but yeah, I mean, sometimes it'll happen where I'm like, okay, I can kind of use that for an original. And I've thought about it and I've worked on trying to get vocals and, it's a whole different process. But
Oh yeah,
um,
I know. There are very few vocalists that work like you, I'm sure,
yeah,
at a rapid rate. I do like working with vocalists. Something I'm trying to do more is going back to the old school, man, and getting in the studio with people and doing songwriting and just having fun. It's hard to do in the world we live in now,
I
but
mean, yeah, I love doing that, and that's what I started doing with Matt Maratia.
oh
You know,
yeah.
he lives 15 minutes away, and we I get to, you know, I go to his studio. We just I'll literally start making hip hop beats and like just having fun, and whatever happens happens. And I love that, you know, when you get to be in the same room together, it's just that whole different experience that you can't replicate just on Zoom or something.
No, absolutely not. That's the beautiful thing, man. That's the beautiful thing. I want to ask you about one more remix that it's the Hate It or Love It one. Shit's gone mega viral, bro.
Yeah, and that was another one where I did the whole find the original sample, you know, re splice it up and make it into that loop, and then it yeah, it went crazy viral when
That was in
was
Chicago
it?
at Smoke and Mirrors.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I
Isn't
looked
that
that up. I'm
that?
like,
Come
wait a
on.
minute, that's Smoke and Mirrors. This is
You want?
full circle crazy going on.
Dude, that was who was that DJ that dropped it? I
It,
forgot her name.
it was a Zulon or
Zulon. Yeah, yeah, that's
yeah.
it. Yeah. And I was like, I think I saw it on Instagram or TikTok, I can't remember. And what's so cool for me is a fan who's now, you know, a member of the music industry. You see these videos and they go track ID, and I'm like, it's fucking burnout. It's fucking Kafka. Like, and it's like it's out, by the way, FYI, you know?
Yeah.
And that's the sometimes the cool part about social media, and also like the, you know, I wish every artist would credit the artist. I mean, maybe she did, but it was really cool to see like that track go mega viral for you, bro. So like
Yeah.
whether you're there or not, you can see the impact it has.
I mean, I know 1001 track list. They
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 tagged
were
it.
the ones who yeah. But that was yeah, that was another song that I've heard 1,000 times, and then
Mhm.
you know, so yeah, I'll go into all right, what songs can I remix, and that'll be like a song I recently heard and be like, oh, all right, I'll just try to remix that one.
Dude, you should like shuffle your whole iTunes music library.
Well, well yeah, so you know, I'll go into my I think I have like 5 or 6 thousand likes in Spotify, and I'll just
There you
shuffle
go.
them and see what happens.
Yes, that's awesome. Holy shit. Please document that process next time. That would be so awesome.
I'll try to catch it.
You should. So who else has supported your music that like maybe shocked you? Like holy shit. Because I know some big names have played your
I
remix.
mean, I mean, right off the bat from the spins was Loud Luxury. As soon as I mean, I was, as soon as I dropped it, basically they were supporting it because
Yeah.
I teased it for a while before I dropped it and started. You know, I was kind of planning the whole burned CD, you know, thing. But
Mhm.
then when I put out the Killers remix with Angelo the Kid,
Yeah.
Tiesto ended up putting it on his radio show,
Oh my God.
and that's when I was like, "Oh shit!" You know, that's like the mega. Like,
No,
how do you top that?
I don't think you can actually.
That's and then yeah, I think Armin van Buuren might have been playing because I did a collab with Morgan Page. That
Yeah.
was another like huge milestone for me, and like getting to that whole Armada world
Yeah.
and being like, wow, this is like because sometimes when you're in it, you don't really like realize what's going on until you like, you know, weeks or months later, you turn around, you go, holy shit, did that just actually happen?
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
that's what happened with the Let It Rock with Kevin Rudolph, which you know was a remix and turned into an original or like you know cover.
What did it really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, so it's on Spotify. Kevin, I got reached out by Total Smash, who they heard the remix like out at a club in Vegas, and he immediately hit me up and was like, "Let's turn this." Kevin's a good friend of mine. Let's turn this into original like cover.
Dude, I didn't know that. Holy shit, that's amazing.
So Kevin ended up re-singing the vocals.
That's
And
so dope,
then
bro.
and then last year in Miami, we played the song live for the same label, hosted a post party. I made like a live version and he was playing guitar and singing And that's a moment where I'm like,
I
what
missed
the hell
that.
is
Wow.
going on? I go, what the hell is going on?
Yeah, no, that's crazy.
So
What a moment, dude.
crazy moment. Like
God,
surreal. So sometimes I don't even think that happened yet.
it did, brother. You just delivered the story. I'm the one who thinks it didn't happen. You were fucking there. That's so cool. Hey, shout out Spotify. We'll give Spotify
Yeah.
one shout out today after talking about Thanks, Spotify.
Yeah, right. And
Damn.
in the back of my mind, that's also another reason I like doing the remixes. Is like, all right, what if the artist or someone actually hears it and they're like, let's let's uh let's distribute this one.
We're seeing that a lot more. And I think that is a great mindset to have too. Like a lot of people are, I'm always back and forth in terms of like, I think artists should do whatever they are having the most fun with. But John Summit, for example, right? He released Deep End on its own actually. And Defected found it. He sent it to them, but he already put it out and they said, close, we want this. Like it got
Right.
signed overnight. So it's almost like until you put yourself out there, you might not give yourself ever that chance, right? You don't want to be the hard drive producer like you mentioned earlier. And I
Yeah.
don't mean that in a bad way because I understand like you want to protect your art sometimes, but also you're withholding something that could resonate with at least one person. And that's one nice thing Deadmau5 has said over the years is if my music actually can impact even one person, then it's worth it for me. It's fulfillment. And I think that's so cool in terms of like what you do, bro. Like all of these tracks that you put out, like they mean something to you. And guess
Yeah.
what? I look how much your music means to me. And I think that's what's so beautiful about being a producer, especially in today's world.
Well, I mean, I that's what led me to it was, holding these tracks and not being able to put them out for the world. It's like, what am I doing here? I have to wait a certain schedule for a label that might not even get back to me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where it birthed the new era of burnout.
Great, man. So are you full-time music or do you have a job?
I do have a 9 to 5. I just grind the music on the side.
Same, brother. Why do you think I'm drinking this beer?
Yeah.
What do you do if you don't mind me asking?
So I'm in printing. We do flexo printing, which is a type of print onto flexible packaging. So
Nice.
I mean, you'll find stuff we do in like your supermarket or a CVS or Walgreens.
I'm in logistics, dude. I do food and beverage transportation. I'm a
Oh,
broker.
really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you'll have to talk to our shipping and
Yeah. Can I get
shipping
some freight?
department. Yeah, that's hilarious.
It's awful out there right now.
I feel you.
How long have you had this job for?
I mean, so it's a family business, so I've been doing it
Okay.
pretty much shortly after college.
Yeah, I've been at the same company for 10 years now.
Yeah.
It's it's always a double-edged sword sort of, but
Yeah.
I feel like sitting here now, it has really given me sort of the long-term energy, I feel like. And what we always hear about are the success stories of people that win full-time music, but you don't hear about the 99% of people that don't want to tell their sob story, understandably, because it's really, really hard to make it. I mean, what do you encourage people to
Well,
do in terms of getting a job or going full-time music? Or how
well,
do you balance it, I guess?
yeah, I mean, I went to South by Southwest one year,
Hmm.
um, and then I was talking to an artist at the time, and he gave me the advice. He's like, keep your day job.
Yeah.
And I kind of held on to that. I mean, in my mind, I have I want to reach a certain point before, full music. Like you want to have a balance of everything
Hmm.
when it comes to, work life and music life and just, your well-being in general. So I found a great balance where I'm at now, and I'm able to work and, pump out as much music as I want
Hmm.
and, get the flexibility to do shows on the weekends. Like I can't really beat it right now.
Yeah, I completely agree. I feel like one thing that I've experienced on my own and seen through others is not every day in music is a good day. And not every day in your work life is a good day, just like your personal life. And giving yourself different outlets and passions, I think, is so important because life is also so much more than what I think a lot of people make it out to be, which is the one thing they're solely focused on. And I always encourage, especially artists, DJs, like you can't be constantly 24/7 music. You will go crazy. Like
No.
get away from the hi-hats, like I said in the very beginning, dude. Like go outside, like disconnect. And
Oh, absolutely.
yeah, I mean, this music stuff isn't guaranteed. So make sure you're always putting yourself in a position to make it, like I mentioned in the beginning as well, bro, like that Hardwell synth moment, you know?
Yeah.
And
I mean, yeah, like I'm taking breaks all the time when I feel fatigued. I mean, I'm not trying to burn out. I mean, I'm actually doing the opposite of what my name is
flip that.
because, there'll be times where I just don't feel like doing music at all and I'll just,
Exactly.
I'll play. I'm a huge tennis player. I've played tennis all my life. That's like
Really?
one of my go-to things to like unplug and do something else, hang out with friends, watch basketball. Like it's not all. It might seem like I'm doing uh, remixes and music all the time, but I love taking breaks as well. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
and you
No,
have to like that. I'd go crazy if I continued to do a remix a week. I don't even know what it'd sound like at that point.
it would sound like you're probably underwater trying to attempt all these things. Yeah, dude, I completely agree, man, and I'm really glad you have that mindset. And I think teach their own, teach their own. Like, our advice is not perfect, but I think I made a post about this recently. I mentioned it earlier, like all these different things that artists have to master these days, and we have to be a jack of all trades, and it's really hard to be an A+ student in all these fucking subjects, bro. Like,
Yeah,
it's just it's not possible in my opinion unless you start to outsource and build a team and stuff, but you got to make sure you're maintaining your north star, your energy, like why do I love this, why do I keep showing up? And you
yeah,
said it in many different ways, Chris, but it all comes back to you just shuffle a song and it takes you back to a moment, and that's what music is all about, like transporting you somewhere else. And
exactly.
it could be a past memory, it could be a current memory, it could be a memory you make in the future as a music producer, and I think that's so special how you look at it, man.
Yeah. I mean, you know, I I'll be so into it one week and then the next week I might be like, all right, I don't feel like doing any of this.
I get it, dude. I get it. I don't know why I make the Pacers my release when it gives me more stress than anything else,
Well,
but
well now I'm a huge Celtics fan, so that's my
oh,
main focus.
yeah, right?
Like last night, I'm not doing any music. I'm focusing on the Celtics right
Same with the Pacers, bro. I'll
now.
wake up in the
Yeah.
morning and I'm like, all I have to do today is be a Pacers fan.
Yeah. It's set in the schedule. Playoffs.
Dude, I listen, man. I know my Pacers people are gonna be pissed about this, but I think the Boston Celtics are fucking awesome, man. I'm even watching that documentary on HBO. I don't know why people hate on Jason Tatum. I think Jalen Brown is the man. Derek White was on my fucking fantasy team. The guy's a dog. Like,
Yeah.
you guys are awesome, man. You're
No,
probably gonna win it again, but I hope we see you in the Eastern Conference Finals.
I do too. That'll be fun.
Last year was awesome. That was a really good series,
Yeah. You
even though you
guys got
swept
some.
us. But you
Dude,
go
the
to
games,
Celtics
every
games?
game. I went to one regular this season, but playoffs still give you a heart attack too.
I'm
So
sure
you
it's
never know.
crazy. I spent damn near a whole paycheck going to see Game 7 at Madison Square Garden last year, but it was,
Yeah.
oh God, it's worth it. But it's like, dude, Jesus Christ, man. Like, I'm telling you, the same seats in New York or Boston and Indiana, it's got to be at least an 80% difference.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
at least.
That's why I don't even like really go to playoff games. They're crazy.
It's crazy. And I'm going back to Indianapolis this weekend, actually, through next week. So next weekend, I'm be able to see. I haven't been to a Pacers playoff game ever as a lifelong fan. Maybe when I was younger, I just don't remember. But I've only been to away playoff games, and it's. I feel like I'm like crawling out of my skin. I'm like, can I cheer? Like my wife is always with me. She's like, don't say anything. And I'll tell you what though, if I was at the fucking Boston Garden, man, I'd be talking my shit.
Yeah. Oh,
You
yeah.
guys,
Yeah. It depends. It depends
you
where you
guys
are.
talk your shit, that is for sure. And that is why I love the Celtics because you guys just don't give a fuck. You're like,
No.
we got 18 banners, bitch. Like, what do you
What are you gonna say?
I'm like, I got nothing. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's awesome though. Okay, real quick, I want to ask you one more tennis question. Have you seen the
Yeah,
movie Challengers?
I have not. Is that with what, Zendaya
Zendaya.
or no? I
Yeah.
haven't.
It's really good actually, but I'm noticing a lot of people are getting into tennis now, and it's because of that movie from what I've heard.
Okay.
And I think tennis is great, by the way. Did you play in high school or how long you been playing for?
I mean, pretty much since like I don't know, 5 years old or so.
Oh yeah?
And then, I was playing other sports at the time, and then probably middle school, end of middle school, I started like taking it seriously and started playing in tournaments and going down that whole
Cool.
world. So, and even in high school, and then obviously I played in college as well. And
That's
that
great.
was kind of, thank you. And that's what, I wasn't really into the music thing yet, but towards college, that's when, you know, tennis was like, all right, maybe I'm not going pro anymore.
Yeah. Oh yeah, like when Grant Hill told me I wasn't going to be in the NBA by laughing at me. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I love that. I love that. That's so cool. And I think that actually it explains a lot about your work ethic in terms of being able to release that much music. You're clearly someone, you're branding everything you do, man. You follow through, like you have a beginning, middle, and end. And even though your name's Burnout, you find a way to not burn out. And I give you
Oh,
mad
yeah.
for that for sure.
Ooh, thank you.
It's not easy because we're doing this shit every single day.
Yeah. I mean, and that's what, as a tennis player, you go out there, you're pretty much by yourself for, I don't know, 2 hours or so. You got to figure out how to get through that match. So,
I love challenge.
as much as I may or may not know it, that kind of like helps me from my just day-to-day life or, music or any kind of situation I'm in. Is like I know I'm gonna get through this basically.
Oh, that's so cool, man. I love that. I didn't even think
Yeah.
about that. Tennis is like golf in that way, right? Where it's like,
You're
well,
It's
golf
you
is maybe
versus
even
yourself.
worse. Yeah,
Right.
fucking golf is maybe, God, like, golf drives me
Yeah.
crazy, bro. I like want to be a good golfer, but it's just so goddamn hard. But tennis is really cool in that regard because it is so mental, but so physical as well. Like it's definitely enhanced golf, but I really admire tennis players. I had a friend that was a tennis player, and um, what was his name? Andy Roddick.
Yeah. That was one of my favorite players growing up too.
What a fucking stud, dude. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
My mom and dad loved tennis when we were growing up. I got to see him play. There was a lot of tournaments that came to Indianapolis, actually, and I got to see him play, and he hit it 110 miles an hour or
Oh
something.
my God, yeah.
What the fuck?
Probably faster.
Probably faster. Oh, I mean, are you kidding me?
Yeah. Crazy.
How many times? Okay, let's say Andy Roddick's against you, and he's gonna get more tired as he serves, but you maintain this amount of energy. How many are you gonna be able to return?
Is he spot on with his targets and corners or
I mean, listen, I'm not gonna say he's in his prime. It's not gonna be today, but maybe like 8 years ago.
I mean, I'm getting my racket on most of them.
Okay, okay.
Whether they're good shots next, he'll probably come up and smash the hell out of it.
But you're not getting aced every time, that's for sure.
No, no, no.
Okay. What about in his prime?
I'm not even walking on the court.
Oh my God,
I'll
that's
just default.
I love asking those questions to people that played sports their whole life. Like I always ask basketball player fans. I'm like, all right, it's you versus LeBron. You're going one on
Yeah.
one 100 times. Like they're like, I'm not gonna be able to fucking score. Like, what do you mean? I'm like, okay, five people versus Shaq. It's like
Yeah,
I get in this viral moment, the 100 men versus
I
one.
was literally just about to say that. It's
I talked
popping
to
up
my
all
friend
over.
about that for 30 minutes last night. I was like, why
My
are we fucking talking about this? It's
my
fascinating.
buddy mentioned he's like, oh, this thing on Twitter or X. He's like, and then now that's all my feed is.
Dude, yeah, the government's out to get us. I wonder what our phone's going to say after this conversation.
Yeah, Zoom like can AI this whole like conversation. It's crazy.
Yeah, 100%. We're gonna get some unique ads. You know what? I just leaned into it. I already, the government knows everything about me, I guess. The ads I get, my God, they're good, Chris. They are fucking good. I am purchasing everything from the ads that I get these days. It's so
Oh yeah.
specific. I'm like, it's a TJ McConnell autographed jersey. I'm like, I'm gonna check out the price.
I'll click the link, sure.
I'll click the link.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh my God, brother. Okay. What do you got coming up? Where can people sign up for your band camp? Like, how can people get involved in your community? What do you want them to know?
I mean, the remixes and edits are ongoing. You can find them on SoundCloud or Bandcamp/Burnout. Coming up, I'm trying to work on some sample packs. I
Okay.
kind of want to, you know, help other producers out and try to, steer them into the direction of, if they want to make originals or remixes or just something to have that I've been able to build up over the years and, help other upcoming producers and DJs out. Um, Originals are just going to be kind of not as scheduled as last year, but I'm always working on new original stuff. So expect them either on my label or I kind of do want to start going towards other labels and even working with Hood Politics would be amazing to keep going.
Oh, you got my
But
fucking information, brother.
yeah, so more remixes, sample packs, and originals are just the main goal here for this year as well.
That's great, man. Do you have any shows planned?
Nothing right now. Just diving deep into production, and I mean that's what I love to do. So
I would love to change that for you in Chicago very soon.
that would be amazing.
Let me see what I can do for you, my friend. We got the Curly
Yeah,
Head Boys coming into town for something. And I think I might be able to get you involved too.
awesome. Yeah, let's obviously keep talking.
Yeah. Well, we'll stop recording and I'll tell you after that.
All right. Well, thank you so much for having me on. Um, it's an honor to be on your podcast. You guys are doing amazing things, so I
Well,
really
thank you.
appreciate it.
Thank you, man. It's a pleasure to have you on. Episode 248, bro. So it's
Wow,
way
you're up
longer than I
there.
would have than I would have liked to have you on. But you know what? That's okay.
I
That's okay.
got I got to catch up with my remixes
I
then, huh? I got
guess
some work
so.
to
I got
do.
more podcast episodes than
I'm
you got
slacking.
remixes.
I'm slacking.
And listen, man,
Hey,
there's
you just motivated me.
your remixes are fucking 3 minutes and 50 seconds. My podcasts are minimum 1.5 hours. So
I'm
usually
screwed.
how it goes. Usually how it goes.
Oh,
That's
that's
great though,
awesome.
bro. Well, thanks for everybody that listened all the way till the end. Make sure you check out Burnout. This guy's the absolute man. You got to get involved with his community. And if you are a DJ and you don't have his music, you got to get like me and get 50 of these motherfuckers because I'm telling you, shit's fire. Thanks, brother.
All right, thank you.
Man, do I love Sherman the Booth. Oh, hey, I think you do too. Hope you enjoyed that piece of content. If you're looking for more, make sure to go to my YouTube channel and hit that subscribe button and turn on all notifications so you don't miss any upcoming Sherman the Booth interviews, live sets, new music, exclusive artist interviews, Sherm's Word, sub-pack reviews, and more. This is your one-stop shop for everything entertainment. Cheers.